Hey guys, welcome to session 4 of SAD and Yoga Therapy Workshop. We're back in our studio. You can see we're turned around though, so I hope everybody's okay where you're at. And for this practice, we're not really going to need a mat, but some floor space. So we can see I've used one of the Hakeem yoga blankets, but the rug would do fine too. And some props you might want to have are at least one blanket similar in size to the ones we used, but anything you got in your living room will work. I'll show you how to fold it up and just try it out. And if you have a cushion or a bolster similar to what we used in class, or a stack of blankets to get under your knees at some point to raise, so you'll be on your back, you'll raise up your knees, sort of prop them up, and that's about it. We get some background music going. It's a little too cold to get in the yard today. I thought about it, but then I would have probably been more depressed. So let's talk about SAD and depression. It's going to be a little bit more somber than last week's. SAD and depression and other symptoms related include sadness, hopelessness, guilt, headache, stomachache, drowsiness, lethargy, physical activity, decreased physical activity, social withdrawal, decreased quality at work, decreased libido, loss of interest or pleasure in activities once enjoyed. A study that I read quoted those feeling depression of living with a black cloud over them, fighting a descent down to darkness, feeling continually oppressed by the sensation of a fist squeezing their heart. Whether or not you felt these, sadness, of course, we can all work with some tools to first figure out where we are. In yoga therapy, we don't really talk about the story, the why we feel that way. That will come to you naturally. And as you might know, the ruminations and the cycles of thoughts that got you there might hit you deeper or just keep you stuck in that loop. So with yoga, we work with top-down approaches, mindfulness, meditation, working with our thought processes, and then we work with bottom-up approaches, which is physiological. So the poses that we do, the breath work, addresses our physiology that's affected by our thoughts. And so you can see the mind and body work together, and you can approach them separately to get them to finally, get along and work towards a state that's more desirable. And what is that? That's for you to decide, but we like to use words like balance, centered, grounded, harmonious, peace, calm, content, and from there maybe you'll work towards things like joy and who knows, even enlightenment. So anyway, let's get back to some practices that we can work with today. Last week we talked about, you can get moving too, sorry. I'm sitting today because this is where we'll be starting, but you could definitely be standing and tapping, or I do like the movement and learning idea so much better than a classroom. So last week we talked about anxiety. We used interoception and a lens of compassion and truthfulness to see where we are, both in mind and body, because they're not always the same. Sometimes the mind wants to go 100 miles an hour and the body's like, whoa, can I just sit back, relax? And sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes the body's real fidgety, but the mind can't think past thought half. So it's really important sometimes to just look both top and bottom. In anxiety, we know that the rajas energy in the guna speak for yogic language is high energy, it's nervous, it's moving, it's rapid, and we worked to meet that where it was. If you're at a textbook anxiety state, and move it down. And for depression, you might find both mind and body are really in that tamas state, which is inert energy. It's slow, if moving at all, and in terms of thought processes, it might be dull. It might just be uninspired, unmotivated, and it can also be different as in anxiety. So, you might be so depressed, moving so slow that you realize you have deadlines and all these other expectations, and then your mind suddenly gets a little bit anxious. So, again, with depression, you can look at both, but we're gonna go with the textbook depressive state of both mind and body are a little bit inert, and we're gonna meet ourselves there and kind of work ourselves up to neutral, at least. You don't want to move too fast sometimes. First of all, that's not being truthful with where you are and working with what you have. And also, if you get yourself in this state too fast, then you can't really process that process, and it may seem unattainable the next time you try. Does that make sense? And so it's really nice to sit with where you are. In fact, we're going to bring in some more yamas and niyamas, the yoga ethics. Also, we're still working with ahimsa and satya, which is compassion and truthfulness. The baseline, always the go-tos. And we're going to add santosha, which is contentment. It doesn't mean be happy with what you have, but it means, can you sit with it? Can you take what's going on and just be present with it? To observe, to recognize, to acknowledge. Everything exists to be seen. So give it that. And from there, I included the niyama tapas, which is self-discipline. Really, it's like burning that fire of determination. And so, if you have a goal, if you know where you are, then you can make the next step and get to where you're going. And so, once you've established your starting place and established a goal, that tapas will help you get there because it's going to keep you on track. I wanted to talk a little bit about the breath work that we've been doing. Breath work is like, it's everything, but we keep it simple. Last time we did the 1-to-1 breathing, where the inhale and the exhale counts were even, and then working with the exhale to elongate, comfortably, of course, because if it's uncomfortable, it's not going to make you relax. But the idea is that a longer exhale ultimately will help you to engage your parasympathetic nervous system, to rest and digest, and come to a place of calm. Like, that's your go-to. If you can get yourself to sit still long enough to tune in with the breath. And so with anxiety and just wanting to be calmer, that's a go-to. But we're working with depression, you're already in a state of slow. And even if your parasympathetic nervous system is not engaged, you don't necessarily want to go that extreme with the breath. And so we're going to work with the 1-to-1, which is neutral. So your inhales meet your exhales, and that does a couple things. It's neutral 1-to-1, and then you can also use the noticing of the breath to link the mind and body. Get yourself centered, grounded if you're comfortable, like on the floor, and just aware. We did the alternate nostril breathing last time, which is also centering, balancing, and really great to clear the mind. So you can use that in any, it's like a prescription for everything, that alternate nostril breathing. If you have any questions about that, you want to see it again, or I'll be glad to go over it with you, just ask. And you can also find plenty of YouTube videos on that. They call it anuloma viloma, in case alternate nostril breathing is not getting what you want, but you'll find that too. We're going to do another breath at the start of this practice. It's called the 3-part yogic breath, and it just brings your awareness into filling the abdomen. As your lungs fill, you want to push out the abdomen, and then the rib cage, and then the chest, because the lungs are, they're decent, but most of the time we just kind of touch the surface, so to speak. But there's, there's like there's pieces of lung in your armpit. We're not accessing our full potential for breathing, so this just gets us into that full breath, which increases your lung capacity. It increases the oxygen flow throughout your body, and it feels pretty good after a while. Maybe not at first, because we're not used to it, but that's, exercise. Okay, I'm going to show you here how to get into our first relaxed position. So we're going to start with a grounding, constructive rest. Grab your blanket. And I'm actually going to move over, because I have 2 blankets the same color, you might not be able to see. But what you want to do with your blanket is maybe fold it, in half once, and then in half again. So now it looks a little bit like that. So quarters. And now you just want to roll it along. No, wait, we're back. Just do it in half. And now roll it along. So that you've got like a log. Let's bring it back. And then if you have a stack of blankets or a cushion, I'm so sorry, Ben, I have your bolsters. We'll have to do this later. It's also optional, but I really want you to try the log. And that's going to be at the base of your tailbone, like at your sacrum. Not quite at the base of your tailbone, a little bit up, so your sacrum. And you see that? And you're going to settle in so that your knees are going to be over your cushion. The base of this is at the base of your sacrum. And as you roll back, I don't know if you can see this, but grab right where your neck is and make like a little nest for your neck, right? Just like this. With your arms out to the side, and settle in where you can. I'm going to give you a moment to do that. Once you're firmly in your space, and you can continue to make any micro adjustments. Allow the back side of your body to grow heavy and connect where it touches the surfaces. And then tune in with your breath. Use your imagination to watch it as it enters and leaves your lungs. Feel the effects that the breath has. on your torso, expanding throughout the entire rib cage, front, back, and sides. And the movement of the belly button away from the spine on the inhale and towards the spine on the exhale. Notice any sounds around you. Let your mind hop lightly from sound to sound. And bring the sounds closer and closer to where you're lying until your attention is on the sound of your breath. Either your eyes are closed or your gaze is soft. And you can begin a scan with your mind's eye or imagination throughout your body, also tapping into the sense of feel. And move from your feet, up your legs, and your torso and your arms, your neck and your head. You can go back and forth, or you can just start at the bottom and work slowly towards the top. And see what calls to you. Is there a place in your body that feels different? A sensation that's tense or maybe a little bit uncomfortable, or simply sensation? And can you sit with that for just a moment, with your attention on the sensation? Just noticing the breath travel by. And what can you offer that sensation? Can you bring in resources from somewhere else? Smooth it out, make it calmer, make it aware of its surroundings. And then move your attention out to the rest of your body. Can you sense serenity and calm? Can you sense your inner strength? Can you sense a time or a place that made you comfortable and serene? A place that gives you strength? It can be a memory, it can be a place or a scene. It can be purely from your imagination or from your daily life. And can you bring that setting into this space where you're lying? Can you sit with that for just a moment and watch the breath flow in and out? And here in the space that you occupy and that you've created, do you have an intention that you'd like to set, either for your practice, your day, or your week? Maybe it's a goal you've been working on and you just want to put yourself in that mindset constantly to see yourself through to that goal. Maybe it's simple, like to keep my attention on the breath. Or maybe it's a life goal, personal to only you. And state it to yourself 3 times. And now let that go for just a minute. Don't let it go, but allow it to settle into your being and let your mind move towards the attention of your breath. Draw the breath in, down towards the belly button, and place the hands on either side of the belly button. See if you can get them to spread apart on the inhale and to come back towards each other on the exhale. This is the first part of our 3-part breath. One more full breath, just drawing it down towards the hands. Might take a little conviction if you aren't used to this. And then move your hands just to the base of the rib cage. And focus your inhale on spreading the hands apart, just in that one spot. One more full breath. It's good to remember, if you don't regularly, that the back of the body fills up on the inhale and relaxes on the exhale. And then bring your hands to somewhere on your chest. Maybe the thumbs by the armpits and the fingers by the heart, or whatever is comfortable, and just focus here. The chest breathing. If there's any strain in any of these places, just stick with what you know. One more breath, just filling the chest. Maybe you feel the collarbones lift as well. And then place one hand by the belly button and one hand on the chest. And begin at the, or anywhere on your chest, by the lower ribs, anywhere that you want to feel sensation, just move the hands to different spots and let them rest there. And on an inhale, begin to fill the lungs from the bottom so that your belly button rises, the whole abdomen expands. Work your way up towards the rib cage. Feel the lower ribs expand, the back side of the body expand. And then bring your inhale up to the chest, up by the shoulders, and fill gently, yet fully and completely, all the way up. And as you begin to exhale, let it leave your chest area first, and then the rib cage, down towards the bottom, and then the belly. And inhale, begin to fill the belly. And then the rib cage. And then the chest. And when you just can't fill anymore, maybe you can bring some air into the neck before you reverse direction. And exhale, chest, and rib cage, and belly. A pretty full exhale, and then do it again. Fill the belly. Try to do it fluidly. Again, if you're not used to it, it's just going to feel a little bit mechanical until it becomes a natural part of your waking up process or relaxation, centering. That's that tapas talking, getting the self-discipline involved to remember to breathe. And at the top of your breath, if you haven't already started to exhale, you can exhale from the bottom up, the belly, and then the chest, or the ribs, and then the chest. If you did it the other way, it's great. And then reverse direction for one more inhale, belly, ribs, and no, lower ribs, and then chest. And this time, exhale, belly, lower ribs, and chest. And then as you begin your next inhale, just come back to a more neutral, balanced breath. That was a 3-part yogic breath. Just really good for getting us back in tune with our full lung capacity and all of its benefits. Great, in the next few breaths, we're gonna come up onto our knees. If you want a blanket or a cushion to sit on, I'll let you get that ready, and I'm gonna start a new video. See you in a minute.